Welcome back to Reddit Echoes, the place where people come to the internet completely serious and somehow end up asking questions that should never have been possible in the first place. These are real stories, real relationships, and real moments where someone sat down and thought, yeah, this is normal, I should post this. Today's story is about expectations, misinformation, and the moment you realize the person you love might be living in a completely different reality than you are. Let's get into it. Story 1. Boyfriend believes women should lactate during sex. I never thought my first relationship would end because my boyfriend expected me to start lactating on command. But here we are. So, I'm a 19-year-old girl, and my boyfriend is, let's say, not very social. He's a bit of a loner. Not in a scary way, just very online. Most of his life experience comes from the internet. Video games, forums, role-play servers, that kind of thing. Honestly, it never really bothered me at first. We actually bonded over games. He even told me once that I was a catch because it's rare to find a pretty girl who likes gaming. Which, yeah, that sentence could mean a lot of things, but I chose to take it as a compliment and move on. Since we started dating, I've kind of been pulling him into the real world with me, going on walks, joining clubs, trying new things, teaching him basic human stuff, like the fact that smelling nice isn't a capitalist scam designed to oppress men. There were obstacles, sure, periods where he'd completely ignore me and just disappear into video games for days, moments where I wondered if he even noticed I was in the room. But overall, I loved him. He was sweet. Awkward, but sweet. We were both virgins, and when I say I was ready, I mean I was really ready. Emotionally, mentally, I trusted him, I cared about him. I wanted my first time to be with someone I loved, and I thought he felt the same way. So when it finally happened, it was nice. Not perfect, not magical fireworks, but intimate, comfortable, real. I felt close to him. I thought we were good. The next day, though, something was off. He was distant, cold, almost angry. I asked him what was wrong, and after a long, uncomfortable silence, he finally asked me if I had been pretending the night before, pretending to enjoy it. I laughed at first because I genuinely thought he was joking. I told him no. I told him I loved him. I told him I was into it. I even said very plainly, I was wet. You saw that. That's when he looked me dead in the eye and said completely seriously, "You're lying. If you were actually horny, milk would have come out of your boobs." I don't think I've ever felt my brain shut down so fast in my life. I just stared at him. I couldn't even process what I'd heard. He said it so calmly, like he was explaining gravity, like he'd unlocked some secret truth about women that I was trying to hide from him. When I didn't respond immediately, he took that as proof. "Well," he said, "I guess it's true. You have nothing to say." Then he started spiraling. "I thought you weren't like other women. I thought you loved me. You're all the same." At this point, I was furious and hurt and honestly embarrassed. This was the man I trusted with something incredibly vulnerable, and he was accusing me of lying because my body didn't behave like a porn video. I tried to explain, I really did. I explained biology, I explained how lactation actually works, I explained that women don't just randomly produce milk during sex. He didn't listen. He told me I was gaslighting him, that I was being abusive, that if I could lie about this, I'd definitely cheat on him in the future. He genuinely believed I was some kind of manipulative villain trying to trick him. Apparently, this idea didn't come from nowhere. He admitted he'd learned it from adult videos and from people he used to role-play with online. They'd talked about it like it was a fact, and since he's never really talked to girls in real life and only has brothers, he never questioned it. And his friends? Absolute yes men. They already didn't like me, thought I was this outsider who stole him away from their online group, so of course they backed him up. Of course they reinforced the idea that I was lying. Now we're not talking. We've both been crying, and I'm sitting here wondering how something so stupid became so painful. I love him, I really do, but loving him feels like constantly compensating for his complete detachment from reality. Seeing him look at me like I betrayed him, like I cheated on him because I didn't magically start lactating during sex, it hurts in a way I don't even know how to describe. I don't want my first relationship to end over this.
I don't want to lose someone I care about because of misinformation and porn addiction. But at the same time, I don't know how to fix someone who refuses to believe reality. I just want my boyfriend back. Not the version of him that thinks women work like internet myths, just the real one.
Story 2. It was just a clogged sink. I still can't believe how fast everything went wrong. I'm 33, my boyfriend is 37, and we've been together for about a year. We don't officially live together. He works in my city but keeps his own apartment in another one, so he usually stays with me on weekends. Things had been fine, normal, nothing that screamed danger. That's why this caught me so off guard. One weekend, he shaved his head at my place, just completely shaved it in my bathroom, hair everywhere. He cleaned up most of it, but not all of it. Later, my sink started draining slowly, so I had to use a strong dissolver to fix it. When I brought it up, I was calm, genuinely calm. I just suggested that next time he use a sink blocker so this wouldn't happen again. That's it. That was the whole conversation. He immediately got defensive. He said my brother was partly to blame. My brother had been staying with me temporarily, and apparently my boyfriend had seen one strand of my brother's hair in the bathroom. One strand. I told him that wasn't comparable. One random hair versus shaving your entire head into my sink and not fully cleaning it up. And then he snapped. It was like a switch flipped. He accused me of always taking my family's side. Then he pushed my head and told me to leave the bathroom. I thought he was joking at first. When I didn't move, he spat directly in my face. I don't think I've ever felt shock like that. I reacted instinctively and spat back, and that's when he called me a bitch. Loud, angry, like he'd been holding it in for a while. He shoved me again and demanded I leave. I told him no. This is my apartment. I'll stand wherever I want. He left shortly after. Later, he texted me an apology, said it was a mistake, said he didn't mean it. But this wasn't the first time he'd called me that word. And the scariest part isn't the insult or even the spitting. It's how quickly it escalated. We weren't yelling. I wasn't attacking him. I wasn't even criticizing him. I made a suggestion, and he went straight to violence. Now I keep thinking, if this is his reaction over a clogged sink, what happens next time? Story 3. This is my career. When I met my girlfriend 3 years ago, I knew she loved Instagram. She posted constantly, 3, 4, sometimes 6 times a day, stories all day long. At first, I didn't mind. Honestly, I found it kind of hot. Suddenly, all her pictures were of me. I felt like a celebrity. She had about 6,000 followers back then. Our relationship was great otherwise. We laughed a lot, we connected. But over time, Instagram stopped being a hobby and started becoming everything. Every day revolved around content time. She'd stop me mid-conversation to repost something. We'd wait for food to go cold because the lighting was better. A 20-minute shopping trip would turn into 2 hours because she needed photos, videos, angles. She wakes up at insane hours to post for engagement, which means I wake up too. We argued about it sometimes, but she'd always bring up my flaws for balance. I'm messy, I'm lazy. Fair enough. Then one day, during a stupid argument, I snapped and asked her to put her phone down and actually pay attention to me. She looked at me like I'd insulted her identity and said, "This is my career. If you don't like it, get out." That sentence hit me like a brick. Because it's not her career. She's been unemployed for 2 years. She made about 20 euros once, 6 weeks ago, advertising makeup for a friend of a friend. That's it. I did the math later. That comes out to about 8 cents an hour. I love her. She has a good heart, but I'm exhausted. What started as flattering now feels intrusive. I feel like I'm competing with a phone for my own girlfriend. I know I'm probably going to break up with her. I just wish there was a way to wake her up first.
Story 4. Our money. I'm 25. My girlfriend is 22. We've been together just under 3 years and living together for a few months. I make about $150,000 a year. She makes around $20,000. I bought the place we live in. I pay the mortgage, utilities, everything essential. She covers her phone bill, Spotify, Netflix, non-essentials. Recently, she demanded we pool our money together and spend whatever's left after bills as our money. She says it's unfair that I get to spend more, but I don't. I save most of it. She, on the other hand, spends what little she has on ridiculously expensive clothes, $600 handbags, designer jackets she wears once, then complains she's broke. I don't want money to ruin our relationship, but I also don't want to bankroll someone who doesn't know how to manage it. And honestly, I'm starting to wonder if this is about partnership or access. Story 5. The Christmas I Didn't Ask For. Christmas was always my favorite time of year growing up. Not because my childhood was good, it wasn't. My family was abusive. I was forced to grow up fast and take care of my siblings while my parents imploded. But Christmas felt safe. This year was special. For the first time, my boyfriend and I were financially stable. We decorated, bought gifts, planned what I thought would be our first real Christmas together. I told him over and over how excited I was for our Christmas. Quiet, intimate, just us. Then he told me my gift early. He bought a plane ticket for my kid's sister, planned everything with my parents. She was coming to stay with us for Christmas. I just started crying. I love my sister, but I'm more like her parent than her sibling. I moved across the country to get away from that responsibility, and now the one thing I was looking forward to had turned into babysitting Christmas. He told me I was ungrateful. I told him this ruined Christmas for me. And the worst part is, it can't be undone without hurting my sister. Story 6. I don't trust her anymore. That morning started perfectly. My fiancé and I had sex, cuddled, joked around. Then she said something weird about how if I ever left her, she'd make sure the other woman would have to work really hard to keep me. It was strange, but I laughed it off. Then she said she had a confession. She told me that after a fight, she'd slipped something into my tea, something that made me sleepy. She watched me fight it, watched my eyes turn red, watched me sleep for hours while she sat there thinking about what to do with me. I felt sick. Now I don't trust her food. I don't trust sleeping next to her. I don't even trust myself to react normally. Everyone I know would probably tell me I'm overreacting, but this doesn't feel like nothing. This feels like the beginning of a horror movie. I still don't know how something so small turned into something this damaging, but I guess that's how it usually happens. It's never the big dramatic moments that end relationships. It's the moment you realize you're not even arguing about the same reality anymore. And once that happens, there's really nowhere left to go.